ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, be you Clydeside, Stateside, worldwide, it's time to rise up. The Scottish Falcons are back on the wing. So, as I say, before we get into anything, we'd like to welcome you guys home because we have a lot to talk about tonight. So we're just going to peel the band-aid off, so to speak, and get into it. Before we do, though, I'd like to introduce my co-host with the most, as always. Des is back joining me. So how are you, first off, Des? A lot to talk about tonight. A lot of news, kind of, to keep us kind of guessing, so to speak.
The best way to explain it, Will, it's a bit like going out in the first date. I'm really, really excited, but I'm really, really apprehensive of what's going to happen. Who are we going to take? There's rumours swirling everywhere, but I'm like a kid in a candy shop. I've ate too much and my belly's sore, and I've got, as I say, I've got that excitement, but there's a lot of apprehension because the last two head coaching calls, I think we messed up. I mean, I think Arthur Smith was the right way to go, but he just didn't work. And we all know about Raheem Morris. So as I say, I'm excited, but I'm apprehensive, and I just want us to get it right this time, mate. That's what I want.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. When you say that, it's just kind of, I wonder how much of that nausea is just kind of left over from the season just gone, because I've still not completely recovered. So I'm all for change as well, you know. And as I say, we always like to open the floor for our frequent flyers. So making his debut on the Scottish Falcon show tonight, we've got Jamerus 58 Gilliam. What's good, 5'8"? Good to have you on, my brother.
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on. Yes.
As I say, we've been planning this for a minute.
Yes. We've been trying to get this thing going, but technical difficulties. AFN is very well known about the technical difficulties, but we made it. We finally here.
Yeah. As well as being known for technical difficulties, we're always known for pushing through just as much. So we're here. We're going to try and get through it. We're going to try real hard. But before we do, as I say, it's important to shout out the guys on the panel. I love to do that, but I also love to show the love back to you guys in the chat. Who you guys get started before we do. So as we say, there's a first commenter, Stephanie Houston. Hey, what's up, my Atlanta Falcons Nation family? Good to have you on. She's saying who is going to be the next coach of our Falcons, and that's something we're going to get into to start the show off. As I say, peel the band-aid off, and we've got some frequent flyers down in the chat as well, showing some love. Ricky, what's good? Falcons Nation over everybody, you already know. And then, as always, the red and blacks from Tony Hall. So, I mean, boys, let's get into it because there's a lot to talk about. So, in terms of breaking news and head coach search and all that good stuff, we did interview former Las Vegas Raiders. I'm showing my age there. I almost said Oakland Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce. And also a second interview for former Browns head coach now, Kevin Stefanski. Now, we will get into this in more detail, but just a shout out to Mad Mike, Kev, and the rest of the boys from the Unholy Alliance, because they dropped some facts about, obviously, go check that out on X, the guys and the coaching tree under Gary Kubiak that produced this man. But I mean, let's not let's keep it 100 as much as we like to, boys. So Des, we'll start with you, and then we'll come to you, Jamerus. So I mean, how do you feel about Stefanski? I mean, I think wins and losses count for a lot, but we'll let you boys have your say. So what do you think, Des?
Yeah, I mean, he's the thing that I worry about is that the last two seasons, I think he's had eight wins, 7 or 8 wins. At some point, you become a habitual loser. Now, I know he had everything through him with the Deshaun Watson thing and obviously the quarterback thing this year and everything. So, yeah, he's not got the best part of players. Seemingly their general manager has left a lot off the table when it came to drafting players. So yeah, he's had a lot of issues, but I would go back to what a lot of Falcons fans said about Raheem Morris, and that was that he had a losing record as a head coach.
Yeah.
And he continued to have a losing record as a head coach. For me, Stefanski would be the easy option because he's been a head coach before. He was the NFL Coach of the Year 2 years. Took the Browns to the playoffs, which is hard to do. I mean, they are a dysfunctional organization, probably one of the worst in the NFL. So you can see all that, but the positive is he's an offensive coach, which is what we need. But I just think if I'm Matt Ryan and I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, listen, I'm going to be here for the next 10 years. I can take a chance. I can look at it. And if we talk about Gary Kubiak, right? Okay, well, if we're talking about the Gary Kubiak tree, why not have some of his blood and go for Clint Kubiak? You know what I mean? As I say, everything, history looks at everything. And as I said to you before we come on the show, if every Atlanta Falcons could turn back the clock after that Super Bowl loss and be able to hire Kyle Shanahan as the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, we would be happy, because we then seen him disappear, take his offense and his scheme to 49ers. They haven't won a Super Bowl yet, but they're constant winners. And I look at Clint Kubiak, and it just looks similar to the father's historic in the NFL. He's an offensive mind. All the QBs talk about how his scheme's so easy to learn, and it makes it easier for the players. It just seems that if you've still got a young, dynamic offensive core, then that's the kind of coach that you want to bring in. So
and I mean, to your credit, Des, I mean, something that you said there, I mean, I would put San Francisco as the NFC's answer to Buffalo. You know that they're a cusp team, so to speak. You know they're going to be in the mix. It's just how are they going to perform when playoffs roll around, and that's kind of the big sort of question when it comes to San Francisco for me. But I mean, I know they lost to Philadelphia, but I mean, as I said, a great team nonetheless. And what are your thoughts on this whole thing, Jameris? So I mean, as I say, Pierce, we've got the second one now with Stefanski, but we're thinking more about offensive-minded coaches now. As I say, it's not signed, sealed, delivered, which Des, you surprised me with before we got started with the whole Harbaugh things, but he is still in the mix. There's still maybe 7-8 names that you could throw out there. But how are you feeling, Jameris? Who are you kind of leaning towards? And how are you feeling about the whole Stefanski thing? Are you concerned? How are you feeling?
Well, look, I'm just looking forward to what the future holds, and as far as the front office is concerned, now that Matt Ryan is the president of football for the Dirty Birds. So hopefully that him and Arthur Blank, the owner, puts their heads together, and hopefully that these interviews is right where they need to. But here's the thing. My thoughts on the Stefanski thing. He was with the Browns, right?
He was.
Okay, so let's think about the Browns' success and failures while he was there. So if I'm not mistaken, he was there when Baker Mayfield was the quarterback, right? If he was, then
he was. Yeah.
He was.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so if he was there, then I got a huge problem with him being the coach for my Atlanta Falcons, because if it didn't work out, and as good as Baker Mayfield is, and he was drawing in a lot of business, like where did it go? And then you went through a whole bunch of quarterback carousels after Baker had left. You went through Watson, and then several others before Shador Sanders. So, like,
Yeah.
where's your part of developing quarterbacks, especially where we're in the midst of developing Michael Penix Jr., right?
Yes.
So,
And as
like,
Des
do
and
you
I
really
have
want to
said,
trust
like,
this
you
guy?
need to be,
That's why,
you
yeah.
know,
And
as you say,
that's
like,
why a lot of these big companies want to see that's why a lot of these big franchise companies, including restaurants, want to see a resume, want to know what you did before you applying for this job. Like, why are
yeah,
you leaving this? How come you're no longer employed in the previous spot? They want to know all of that. So I
yeah,
want to know is why are you not employed with the Cleveland Browns anymore? Like, what is your
hmm
part in the failures? What was your part in any success? And how are you going to and how are you?
Well, I as he's cut off, I would jump
Cleveland
in and say,
Browns,
yeah,
first the Deshaun Watson, his drama, and then
hmm
oh, he's gone.
Oh, he's cut off. Yeah, we'll keep it
I'm going to
going.
jump in there anyway, Will,
Yeah,
because
please do, bud.
effectively Baker Mayfield got the same rap as Matt Ryan. But
Hmm
Baker Mayfield was caught with the Deshaun Watson thing. So effectively, when Cleveland Browns went in and signed Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield came out straight away and said that he wanted traded. And
Yeah.
that's how he ended up going to Tampa Bay. So I don't think
And as
that's
we say, Des,
I
like,
don't.
we were talking about it in the back, and a big thing is it's a what have you done for me recently league. And that's something that was to what Jameris was saying as well. As Maggie says, you need to get set, and we're getting straight in and peeling the band-aid off here, because there's a lot of serious stuff that has to be discussed when you're talking about who's going to be head coach of this franchise. And as we say, we don't want ego. We don't want, like, I can see a lot of positives about Stefanski. And as you say, to Sonia's credit as well, another one of the ladybirds. She says he wants to get revenge on his dad there, and possibly so. But again, I don't want ego, and I don't want baggage to get involved in the conversation. I just want a head coach who knows how to run an offense, develop a young QB.
That part.
Yeah, you're sounding a lot clearer there, Jameris. So, do you want to finish your thought there from earlier? Or you want to continue,
Oh
bud?
yeah. And I'm not really familiar with Pierce of
Mhm.
his work, so I really have no answer for you for that. But to answer the question that you asked me, like, what is my heart is leaning towards, like, even though, like, it looks like he's gonna sign with the Giants, I was looking for Harbaugh because he's a leader of men, and he knows what a Super Bowl title feels like. He knows how to get there. He knows how to get to the playoffs. He knows how to no matter who's under, whether if it was Joe Flacco or whether if it was Jackson, it doesn't matter. He'll find a way to bring you at least a division title, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so my heart was leaning towards John Harbaugh, but he looked like he's going to looks like he's going to be entertaining the crowd at East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yep.
So
Interesting point. And I mean, if you're just talking about him on a coaching standpoint, I think he brings a lot of good stuff, Harbaugh. But my problem is, if you want to build an organization with solidarity, would be the word that I would use, then certainly if this is Matt Ryan's team, then I don't want to bring a head coach in then who is going to be at odds with that, who's going to go, I'm Jim Harbaugh, I've earned the right to have my guys and have it done my way. Maybe but not here.
I mean, the rumours coming out, so obviously he's still not signed his contract. The rumours coming out are that there's a potential that Joe Shane is heads on the chopping block because Harbaugh wants his own guy in there as general manager. And as I said to you earlier on, what's the point in bringing Matt Ryan in and saying, right, okay, you're president of football. We want you to be responsible for everything around football. We want you to set the vision that we want to be for this team going forward, and then bring in John Harbaugh, and for John Harbaugh to effectively take over the place. I've never. I mean, listen, I know he's an amazing coach. What I would say is that, see if you even make it as see if you're an assistant coach to the offensive coordinator, if you wherever you are, if you get to the NFL as a coach, you're good at what you do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
100%.
But if you become a head coach, you're fantastic at what you do. And I'm not taking that away from John Harbaugh or Stefanski. But the issue I've got is that John Harbaugh to me was similar to Belichick. Belichick was going to come in and wanted to control everything. Now, for me, John Harbaugh's 63, Belichick's in his 70s. How can you have a long-term vision with a guy that's effectively coming up to a pension age? You know what I mean? Stefanski, the one thing about Stefanski, he's what, 35, 38, something like that. He's not even 40 yet. So yeah, if he was successful, we could go with that. For me, I've always been open, and it's Clint Kubiak for me. No matter what, literally on my on the draft day video at the end with Kevin Costner, my wee post-it note says Kubiak no matter what, and I don't mean his brother, I mean him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like as you say, while I'm introducing Emmanuel, because our brother's joined us from the Pandemics, it's good to have you back as always, brother.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us as always. It's great to kind of, as I say, have these international roundtables, especially when we're at such a pivotal point in the season. And I see some guys saying that although it looks like Stefanski's going to be the guy, there's still a lot of guys saying about Harbaugh as well. I feel like, as I said to you, Des, not to vilify the point, but just to obviously make it clear to you. I feel like Harbaugh was very much the low-hanging fruit on this one. I'm not overly concerned if he wants to go and sign with the G-men, because I feel like when you throw in names like Kubiak and, you know what, even Stefanski, due to his age, as you say, Des, I want a coach where we've made the point, some of these players that we love so much are 23, 24, 25 years old. They've not reached their ceiling yet. So we need to capitalise while we can and build this thing together for longevity as well, because I want a dynasty. I don't know about you boys.
The issue we've got, Will, is that effectively some of these rookie contracts are running out now. So effectively all these young boys, we've wasted a lot of their rookie contract. This appointment needs to be right. We can't mess this up. The way I look at it is, we've got our DC, we've got Jeff Ulbrich. Jeff Ulbrich is there. That defense is going to be even more immense next year. So we don't need to bring in a defensive-minded head coach, as far as I'm concerned. We need to bring somebody in who can help this offense. And again, we can't make a mistake this time. This needs to be right, or we're going to go over a decade without a playoff.
Yep, I agree with you. I mean, yes, we need to get something that we can develop, as I say, in years to come. But at the same time, it's quite a pressing situation that we win now. So I agree with that on both sides. So as Nathan says down in the chat there, it's time to get Falcons set. If you don't want to drop an F-bomb, I mean, and where do you fall on it, brother E? I mean, there's a lot of different options, as we say, probably 7-8 names in that hat. So with everything being said, second interviews rolling on and all that good stuff, because I mean, Des and I are both planning on sitting up watching the game tonight. I suspect you'll be doing the same. So yeah, where are you landing on it, boys? Because I mean, Emmanuel, surely you want someone who can be a QB whisperer and build this offense, but who's your guy? First off,
man. First of all, appreciate you having me on once again. But for me, I think the obvious choice should be Robert Saleh. And I say this for a couple different reasons. Proven. He's proven he's back ready. He's ready, right? And he already has chemistry with the defensive coordinator who we all want to keep, Jeff Albrecht. Them two did a very good job up in New York, despite how New York turned out, right? And what people have to realize is what happened in New York. You know, New York was in worse shape administrative wise and organizational wise than we are. So obviously things were going to fall apart. And then you bring in a quarterback who has more drama and his up under his belt than anybody I know, and Aaron Rodgers. So that was doomed from the start. Even with all that happening, you have to look at what they did with New York, right? New York didn't even have a defense to speak of. Didn't even have a Pro Bowler. Before they left, Jeff Albrecht somehow managed to pull 3 Pro Bowlers out of that defense. So, and you know, and at the same time, they managed to win some games. But the chemistry that they have, I think, will benefit Atlanta. I think as far as developmental wise, they did bring along some great rookies, some great sophomore players. So I think that's what this team needs, that chemistry, right? People who know what they're doing, who can develop a quarterback. Of course, they didn't get that chance in New York because New York kind of squandered it a little bit. But to me, I think it was Robert Saleh, and right behind him, I think the other obvious choice would be Mike Tomlin. You know, looking at what he did, what he was able to keep doing in Pittsburgh, despite all the distractions, all the draft picks that they kind of squandered a little bit, they still were able to keep winning and get to the playoffs. You know, you're talking about a coach that's a proven winner. You know,
there is that. But what I would throw into the mix is that a guy who's going to want to come in and do things his way? And although his way is proven, and I mean it's got a high level of success to his credit, it does kind of make me wonder. I mean, to Ricky's credit, I mean he's made another good point here, and if we're also getting someone to call the plays offensively, I mean, I think it was Ricky himself on Thursday's show that suggested Saleh with McDaniel and Ulbrich, and I'm like, that's now you're interested, now you're cooking something here. So I mean, it really depends where you want to go. And sorry, Des, you had something to say, bro?
Yeah, the one issue I think Robert Saleh could be a great appointment. The one issue I've got with Robert Saleh is that Robert Saleh, when he was at New York, literally he called the plays. He didn't allow Jeff Ulbrich to call the plays. And from my point of view, that's an issue for me, because you see how good Jeff Ulbricht's been this year when he's actually in complete control. So at some point, Robert Saleh was watching this, and he wants to call plays. He doesn't want to be a CEO. And that's probably where there's going to be an issue. Is Robert Saleh prepared to come in and step back from the play calling and allow Jeff Ulbrich to actually call the play? If Jeff Ulbrich stays in the defensive coordinator as well as he's done, and then Matt Ryan comes to him and says, we're bringing in Robert Saleh and Robert's going to call the plays. At that point, I think there's going to be a lot of other NFL teams surrounding the Flowery branch champing the door for Jeff Ulbrich. I think Jeff Ulbrich, he wants to effectively develop himself, and that's the biggest issue I've got with Robert Saleh, is that he was actually in the New York Jets, and he's obviously seen how good Jeff Ulbrich is behind the scenes, and at no point did they allow him to start calling plays and take the heat off him. That's my big issue. Mike Tomlin, I spoke about Mike Tomlin in the last show, and I there was 2 strikes for me. The first one was that he said that Raheem Morris was the best coach in the NFL that wasn't a head coach. Now we all seen how that worked. And secondly, I think personally, I think he's really bad at choosing his coordinators.
That part.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. And again, what's one of the main issues we had with Raheem Morris? The fact that he couldn't get his coordinators right. And Mike Tomlin has had major issues in the last few years with coordinators. So again, that's a strike for me as well. And the fact that he did take on Arthur Smith, I mean, that's strike, that's it. Gone. You know what I mean?
That's no fastball either. That's a nice controllable, a nice gentle curveball, and he still missed that one. So I mean, if we're gonna say it's a what have you done for me lately, then that's where guys like us start to check out. To your credit, see Duttlinger down in the chat, that's where we kind of check out on guys like that. And a shout out to Jimmy as well. Jimmy Puddle Ducks back in the chat, guys. It's good to see him back. But I mean, the coaching situation is going to be interesting the next few days.
But here's the thing too, though. Here's the thing too. No matter what coach you are, you know, you're only as good as your coordinators. I mean, even with from McCarthy to Belichick, which was an obvious situation, he was only as good as his coordinators, or in his case, his quarterback. But the thing is, and like I think it was Southside Ricky that brought it up. Shout out to him. He was like, no matter what the head coach is that we bring out, you know, you're still gonna have to choose that offensive coordinator. And even with Raheem's situation, he was that breaking point for Raheem. Obviously, in the beginning, it was both Zach Robinson and Jimmy Lake, but he got rid of Jimmy Lake, and we saw how that turned out. It's completely 180-degree turnaround. But he refused to make that decision when it came to Zach Robinson. Apparently, it was a buddy system going on. I don't know. But he didn't want to fire Zach Robinson. Now, the thing is, going forward with Matt Ryan, it's going to be hard for us to choose a head coach that's going to want to deal with Matt Ryan. Not on a friendship level, on a system level, because most head coaches now have this open door policy with their team owner. They can go talk to the team owner. Now, Arthur Blank has this structure to where I don't know if you guys remember the movie American Gangster with Denzel, where Denzel goes into his party and he says, "Hey, from now on, nobody talks to me. You talk to if you want to deal with me, you talk to Huey. Huey, you talk to me." And this is exactly what Arthur Blank has set up. You know, nobody's able to just walk in his office now. And I think that trust was destroyed with Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris because he trusted him so far. Now he has a guy in there that he can trust in Matt Ryan, right? I don't think Matt Ryan will go in there and tickle Arthur Blank's ear, so to speak. You know what I mean? So if Arthur Blank wants to know something or needs to know something, and that's all. And I hate to put it in such words, but Matt Ryan right now is that snitch boy. I mean, I hate to put it like that, but that's exactly what it is. Yes, he will lead the search for the head coach and GM, but he has no say so on who we pick. You know, they said that in the press conference. He leads the search, but he won't have a say so. Even in the draft, he won't have a say so. Now, what they do behind closed doors, that remains to be seen. But right now, he's that perfect guy that Arthur Blank trusts. During the press conference, you saw numerous of times where Matt Ryan reaches over and taps, Arthur Blank on his leg, like, "Hey, don't worry about it, I got you." And that's what spoke a lot to me is the fact that given Mr. Blank's advanced age, I'm not against this at all, because I mean we were speaking a lot towards the end of the season about, is it maybe time for him to step down his level of authority or bring someone in? Like we thought it was maybe going to be his young son or someone of that nature, but that someone that he trusts that can be that conduit in between the two. Sorry, Des, you had something to say on this?
I'm going to, what Emmanuel says, I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. If I'm a head coach and I want to talk about things that are to do with football, I want to talk about somebody that's got a football mind. I don't want to talk to the owner. The owner, listen, don't be disrespectful to Arthur Blank. He's been there a long time,
Mhm.
but he got there by bringing out the wallet and buying Atlanta Falcons. He didn't get there by progressing up the ranks. Now, we know that Matt Ryan obviously came in. He's got a football mind. I would rather, if I'm going to somebody with an issue, I want it to be somebody that's been in that environment, somebody that's been there, that's done that. What is there to say to somebody like Arthur Blank about some issue with a player? Because Arthur Blank's never been in that situation where he's had to deal with a player on the training ground or anything like that. You know what I mean? So, from my point of view, I look at the other way. I think Matt Ryan's he's really thought well in the NFL, in the circles. I think everybody knows he's quite an intelligent QB and he's got that football mind. And obviously, with being with CBS as well, obviously the first year he done a lot of he was on the road and he would have met with a lot of head coaches, a lot of general managers talking about the preparation coming up to the game. So he's been in and around and mingled with a lot of people. The one thing you know about Matt Ryan is, as soon as you meet him, you take to him. He's a nice guy. He's a genuine guy. And for me, if I'm reporting to anybody, and I'm pretty sure that Ryan will be saying to the guy, "Listen, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not your boss. I am not your boss. You're your boss. You control it, but I'm here to help." You know what I mean? Right. The one thing about Matt Ryan is there's no ego there. He's only there to help the team, and that will come across. That will be genuine. You know what I mean?
And it boils down to another word that has been one of our buzzwords for the entire season, which has been accountability. Mr. Blank said it in his press conference, and not so many words, is we need people who are gonna be accountable for the future, the direction of this franchise, and where we're going looking forward. And to tackle that question, which is a great point to do so, Ricky's asked us if we're going to be covering the Natty. Now, I know that, Emmanuel, you want to do something because you're a fellow Hurricanes fan, but what I was going to do, if there is some uptake for it, because me and Des have been going back and forward about whether to keep these going. As you guys probably know by now, we've got the kettle sessions, which is what we call our family watch parties. So if you want to put the kettle on for game day, and you want to see us tackle that, Ricky, guys down in the chat, guys down in the panel, as you know, you're some of our frequent flyers, so it would be an open invitation to yourself, boys. But drop some red and black if you fancy that. Hit the like, the share button, all that good stuff. And let us know if you want to see us do more of the watch parties. Keep that trend going because they have been fun. Some of the results haven't been so fun, but the watch parties have been fun. So as we say, Emmanuel, we're thankful to you for joining us and earning your kilt. And as I say to Jameris as well, thank you for joining us because, as we say, it's not always the most fun, but we're glad you're in the trenches with us. Claymore's swinging the whole time. So
you missed a bit out there when you said it's not always fun. You missed a bit when it says being an Atlanta Falcons fan.
Talk.
I was speaking in a broader context because after Thursday's performance, it's not too fun trying to present these shows either. But we do what we can. Do you know what I'm saying? So we take it as you throw it, man. One show at a time, one day at a time. That's how it goes in Atlanta. That's how it goes for us in Scotland as well. Just you give me your best and prepare for the best, and obviously prepare for the worst as well because you never quite know. But hit the like, the share button as well. Tell your people as well if you're enjoying this because we've got a big year planned for 2026. So
most certainly.
Yeah, so
always a good time to talk Falcon football. For football, I talk football anyway. So I coach it and everything. So I mean, and like Matt Ryan, man, that's not a negative thing. But at the same time, you have to realize, too, that we're the only team in football that has Matt Ryan's position. And this is not something that's a lot of the head coaches are used to. So, it's like I said, that most coaches, if they have a problem, they're not normally having that middleman there to go talk to the owner. They had a problem, they either can go talk to the general manager or the owner himself. Now they have to go talk to Matt Ryan. Like nobody has to know that open door to go talk to Arthur Blank anymore. So and I think that door has been shut. I don't know if something may have happened in the past, but he has set this tone now. Like, hey, this is a new day for Atlanta Falcons. We're going to establish this organization. We're going to establish to where things look formal. This type of thing. So, and it could be a way to get Matt Ryan into a bigger position, because you got to remember Greg Beatles. Yes, he's president of football operations, but he's been there 31 years. So this could be a way to get Matt Ryan's kind of feet wet to slide into that position, which I think he can fulfill. Like you said, what better person to talk to about football than a person who's played it so long as Matt and at the level as Matt Ryan has. So it's a plus.
And then so detailed and nuanced a position as we all know the quarterback position is. I mean, I know none of us were QBs, but we can appreciate what it takes to play that position and to such a high level as well, So
the one thing about a QB is that a QB needs to know the defense as much as he knows the offense. A QB needs to be able to read the defense and what's happening in the defense. The other thing I would say about what Manuel's point as well is that I think Arthur Blank's looking long term. He's 82, 83. I mean, he's an old man now. He's at a point where if he effectively needs to look at stepping back. I think he's looking at his son to take over, but his son's only in his late 20s, so effectively he's maybe just a bit too young just now. So he's looking and saying, well, if I have any health issues and I have to step away, who is there to control all this? And that's why I don't think it's just the fact that it's to do with football. I think he needs to, at some point, at his age, he needs to step back a wee bit and that's, I mean, at some point he needs to retire and enjoy his super yacht, you know what I mean? So
I agree, but I think, as we've said a few times, he wants to enjoy a Super Bowl before he can fully enjoy that super yacht. So, and I can completely appreciate that. So, I mean, I'm not going to take that away from him.
What I would also say as well is that the one thing I would say is that there's a lot of mixed signals from all the Atlanta Falcons fans on what coach they want, but I don't think I've really heard anybody saying having any issue about Matt Ryan getting brought in, which is quite unusual for the Atlanta Falcons fan base. They always have to find something wrong with something that's happening in that franchise. But I honestly didn't see anybody having an issue with this.
Yeah, no, as we've all said at this point now, it's, if you want to talk about dynasty, if you want to talk about longevity and all that good stuff, then that's not just a player thing. That has to come from top down as well. So if you've got a staff that's in place to succeed and for a longer period of time, then that's what you need to kind of get behind. So as the guys in the panel have said, and there's the guys in the chat, Jimmy's pointing out as well, that a lot of the guys agree with that's what we kind of need to go for. And as you say, at this point, change was not only inevitable, but we had to kind of cut out, trim the fat, so to speak, as well. And shout out to Uncle Lieu. He's back in the chat again. And as you say, we'll get into it. Do you know what? That's a great time, as good a time as any now that you're in the building, Lieu.
Talk about the agents.
Yeah, let's segue and talk about some of these free agents. So as I say, I've got the list here, which I'll flash up for you guys a little bit. Let's have a look and a talk about these now. This was actually, shout out to Vinny down in the group chat, because he's one of the guys that shouted this out. But outside of Caden Ellis, Bradley Pinion, I'm going to throw one in that's maybe a little bit controversial given his age. He's in his 30s now. But that would be the second page there. I know it's not very detailed, but this is available on X, Facebook, every social site. It's through Atlanta Bird Gang. There's a lot of sources sharing it out right now, but outside Opinion, who I believe is very consistent at the punter position, Caden Ellis, and as I say, I'm going to throw in Leonard Floyd because he's done a great job this season from what we've seen out of James Pearce in that mentor role. I'll pass it around. I'll start with you, Jameris, because as I say, we've kind of left you a bit quiet down in the corner there, my boy. So, how are you feeling about these free agents? Is there anyone standing out to you that you would re-sign? And then we'll go around and see how the rest of the panel are feeling. You still there, 5'8"? I think he might have fell asleep on his boys. Yo, Jamers.
Nah, I'm disconnection. I'm up. I'm having a little disconnection, just a little bit.
Nah, you're all good, brother. I'm just saying, what are you thinking of this free agent core? Who are you signing?
The free agency. I would look for a cornerback in free agency. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Our defense is pretty good, but you know, is our CB2. We don't know who's our true CB2 is from the opposite side of AJ Terrell. So, like,
Yeah.
I had I really had high hopes for D. Alford, but as good as he is, he's kind of inconsistent to me. He's inconsistent. One day he's looking lost, and another day he looked like he could be a Pro Bowler. You understand what I'm saying? So we need we need a cornerback from free agency to at least give D. Alford some competition for the actual role of that CB2 assignment. But that's the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to free agency. We need us a CB2.
I would agree. CB2, wide receiver 2, those are two positions that I'm definitely looking at free agency and draft wise. But as I say, he's worthy of his own shout out there. And as we get on to you, Des, and we'll go to you next, Emmanuel, before we come back up top. Uncle Lou's hits the nail on the head there. I don't even know if it's so much a Stefanski issue. It's cost and effect. And as I say, we've broken it down. Me and Des were talking about it on Thursday. For $45 million, how can you not retain a player with the caliber of Tyler Algier? I mean, miss me. If you want to let that guy walk, then please miss me on that.
I've always said that the only way he's not going to be there is that some other NFL franchise is going to come in with crazy money. He is an RB1 for probably 20 teams out there. I mean, I'm happy to pay the man, get the man in, because we can't just completely overuse Bijan. We can't the way we've used him in the last few games. We can't keep doing that, because effectively his body's going to start breaking down. He's going to get injuries and he's not going to be the same player. The benefit of Tyler Algier is just a sledgehammer. You just put him in there and bang. He just runs through people. Again, that's not something long term that's going to help your body, but that's how I think him and Bijan just work perfect together. So I mean, I seen that statistic that he's going to make in his next year more money than he's made in his rookie contract at the Falcons. But for me, like $5-6 million a year, it's a slam dunk. Pay the guy. The issue we've got is that somebody's going to come in and add another zero or another one or two to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. That is what deeply concerns me too when it pertains to Tyler. I feel like a lot of teams are going to come in there and go, "Yeah, you want paid? Here's some payment." But as you say, what I worry about is I don't want Bijan Robinson to go the way of a Todd Gurley, because you remember Todd Gurley in his prime. That guy was a dynamic runner with a football in his hand. But we don't. But the Todd Gurley that we got was, in many ways, a shadow of his former self. You know.
I have a question for y'all, especially the chat. I want to read y'all opinion. So, what would y'all do if y'all was in a GM position? What would you do? Pay Tyler Algier, or let him walk and give Kyle Pitts give him a nice shiny new contract? If it has to come
it's
down
an
to that.
interesting one, but for me, it doesn't have to come down to that, because if we franchise tag Kyle Pitts, you're talking 16 mil. So we can get both those boys for 20 mil.
Yeah.
Tag him,
or somewhere in that.
Yeah, you're tagging Kyle Pitts. What I would say to Jameris, the benefit we've got with Tyler Algier, and again, I'm not being disrespectful, he's a running back. It's not a heavy rewarded position. He's not going to get 10 or 12 million a year.
No.
You know what I mean? He's viable in our current cap position. He's viable. I mean, he's been here long enough. I'm pretty sure he's stable here. He's content here. What I would do is, if I'm the general manager, I'll say to him, listen, I'm not going to hold you back. Go out there, see what you've got, and then come back to us, and we'll see if we can match it. And then again, if it's a case of 1 or 2 million, I mean, seriously, for a couple of £1 million or $1 million, you're not only benefiting from the run game that you're putting together, you're also helping Bijan Robinson as well, and maybe extending his career by another year or two. You know what I mean? So you put all the positives there. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. And then I'm tagging Kyle Pitts. $16 million for effectively your wide receiver too. $16 million for a wide receiver too. If you were tagging a wide receiver just now, it's $29 million. You're getting a wide receiver, one of your main wide receivers, for $16 million. Again, no-brainer. Absolutely.
Slicing that up, it's like cost and effect, as I said, it's how much are you willing to pay, and when you're getting a premium like that, you can't not take advantage of that. And I know you had a lot to say about the Kyle Pitts situation too, Emmanuel, so do you want to take that over and give us some of your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and this is why I loved Terry Fontenot, right? He would have found a way, or will find a way to keep Tyler Algier. You know, he's that economics guy. He would have found a way. And we as fans, we know Tyler's asset to the team. You know, what's going to be important is whoever the head coach comes in, see the value of Tyler Algier on this team, right? And we know what Tyler Algier does game in and game out without fail. But I think it's a no-brainer. I think I don't think we need to worry about Tyler Algier being here. I think he will be here. I think we have to trim some fat to keep him. And I think one player in particular, what's the linebacker name? Troy Anderson. Troy Anderson is a $5 million guy. You know, Tyler, I don't think he's going to ask for upwards of $6 million, to stay here. Even if he does, I mean, trimming Troy Anderson, Michael Hughes, I think he's going to be expendable because of his age. You know, he's aging, and D. Alford, he's the young. They're going to stay on the errand of keeping the younger guy. You know, unless we go all crazy in the free agency and look for a CB2. But we do have the money to keep him. You know, it's not going to be over exuberant of what Tyler Algier asked for, I don't think. And he has said he wants to stay in Atlanta. So it's going to be a matter of what Tyler Algier asked for and what the head coach coming in, what he sees Tyler's value to the team. As far as Kyle Pitts, I'm tagging and trading him. I'm not paying Tyler Algier nowhere near $20 million. That's not going to happen. Travis Kelce doesn't make $20 million. You know, people who are doing it for their team, they are not making if we pay Kyle Pitts anywhere $17-18 million, that puts him 1 or 2 in the league as top tight ends in the league. I'm not paying him that. I can't do it.
Yeah. The only guy getting paid that is Trey McBride, and I mean, if you want Trey McBride money, give us Trey McBride numbers.
Yeah,
that's all we're saying.
I want a producer. I want a producer.
I'm going to jump in there, right? Guess who's behind Trey McBride this year as a tight end? Number 2, Kyle Pitts.
It is Kyle Pitts.
It's Kyle Pitts. So I need to disagree with you. I'm not. you go back to Caleb McGarry, we were all screaming when they were looking to effectively give him his 5th-year option. Don't give him his 5th-year option. He's been average. We didn't give him a 5th-year option, and he'd done so well in the 5th year, we ended up giving him a contract. And even that when he signed the contract, a lot of people were out there saying he'll go back to the way he's been.
Yeah.
Or
worse.
Or worse.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts has only turned 25. He's only turning 25. He's literally got 7 or 8 years ahead of him. You know what I mean? People forget he came into the NFL at 20. He was 20. I think he was 21 the day when he actually started playing. So he was a really young man. He had a lot to deal with when he first came in. He's now grew up. We now see what he is. And I'm sorry, if our general manager comes in and he's looking at Kyle Pitts and what he done last year, bearing in mind, even with Kyle Pitts, it was still spotty. There was times when he didn't get the ball and he just wasn't targeted at all. So there was it was dead spotty there. For me, if you're looking at Robert Saleh, or if you're looking at an offensive mind, every top team has an exceptional tight end, and what I would say is we ain't going to find a Kyle Pitts in the draft. For me, I just don't see it.
Yeah. And it brings us back to the offensive coordinator. That's why that position is so important, right? Because we have 3 other tight ends on this team that does the work that Kyle Pitts does. You know, people say, well, Kyle Pitts creates a huge mismatch against other players, you know. And my thing is, okay, that's all well and fine and good, right? But where was this performance before your contract year? Right, you take away his injury year, but where is that performance? Where is that unicorn performance everybody's talking about? Now his rookie year, you know, you expect somebody like that to ball out. You know, nobody has tape on you. But that sophomore year, then his injury year, you know, then his year to come back. Raheem talked about this man being a monster coming back from his injury. I saw nothing of that, right? So I'm like, where is the performance that everybody's looking for? To me, I've never pictured this man as a unicorn. Yes, he was that mismatch for other players, but he was not a Travis Kelce. He was not a Charlie Warner. He was not for that matter, he wasn't even a Felipe Franks. And I hate to put him down that low, but at least Felipe Franks could block. You know, I mean,
I can see that, and that is one big problem I've had with Kyle Pitts is the lack of.
If you put Pitts on the line, everybody knows what you're doing. You know, if you put him on the line, everybody knows you're not running to his side. Now you may run to his inside because he has help, but you're not running to his outside. So everybody knows they're going. Everybody on that defensive line knows they're going to block down. They're not going to block to contain the outside, and unless you got a Bijan Robinson in the backfield. So. He kind of like gives away the plan or offense pretty much, and you know, and when he does make a good block, right? You're like, okay, well, you should be doing that, but at the same time, he's not consistent, and I think his numbers were elevated this year because 1, it's his contract year, and then 2, Kirk Cousins will, you know, kind of like swallow the bullet, kind of so to speak, you know, and say, hey. Okay, I'm going to go see this man if I want to, you know, keep performing at, you know, and try to get my job back. So
I agree. So I mean, not only would it be the most cost-effective idea, but it would also be the most diplomatic idea. You have one more chance. This is your tag year. If you don't perform, then we're going to shop you for trades.
But bearing in mind, guys, Drake London was out for quite a few games as well, so they obviously had to go to him. See, from my point of view, I look at the coaching. That's what I look. I look at the coaching. Who I mean, even in the first year, who was Kyle Pitts OC offensive coach in 2021? I guarantee none of you will remember. Dave Ragone. Dave Ragone. That was who our OC was in 2021. You know what I mean? And that's who was effectively working with Kyle Pitts. Obviously, the tight end coaches and all that. But the coaches, I don't think, has been great. Zach Robinson, I don't think Zach Robinson is down there saying to Kyle Pitts, "This is what I want you to do. I want you to be tougher. I want you to be harder." He just needs. I just think he needs a right coach to be the #1 tight end in the NFL. He just needs somebody to take him aside and say, "Listen, look at your wingspan. Your wingspan is enormous." What I would say is, I think Michael Penix Jr. was starting to learn before he get injured how to place it with Kyle Pitts and where to place it, and that was important. The other thing as well to look at, he's had his injuries and he's had the worst of the worst quarterback play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you look at through all that, the best year he had was when he had a competent QB, which was Matt Ryan in 2021, and that shows you the difference. You know what I mean? I am not writing Kyle Pitts off. If we trade him, I will be very, very unhappy. I just feel that we've went through all the I would say nighttime feeds. We've been through all the tough spells. You know what I mean? Where we've had to wake up at night and feed the baby and all that kind of stuff. We've been through all that. Now we're getting the man we thought we were drafting then. Why would you then just toss that all aside and have to start afresh? It just makes no sense to me.
And
it's not saying that he can't.
We all that being said, the best option would then be to tag with the option to trade as well, because then that means, like, we're not in the habit of trying to keep people happy, but if you were gonna, that would probably be the best way to do it, I suppose. Atlanta Falcons fans, boys, are never happy, but as happy as we're going to get is going to probably be through tagging them as well. But what I wanted to do as well, while we've got the chance, is this is a fantastic thing to talk about as well. While we're on the financial and contractual side of things, we never mind. We're never bothered about pulling something up again if it's for the fans, so you never need to apologise for that. But Jimmy wants us to have a look at or give our thoughts on the Kirk Cousins situation. Now, with everything being said, I think it's going to be about, I think if I looked at it right, it's $17 million or somewhere in that range cheaper to let the man walk than it is to pay him. So for me, if you're looking for a bridge QB anyway, pay him for 2 years. He's going to have a good bit of chance to show what he's got before Penix comes back, and then you have that competition, and then you see where we're at. So for me, I feel like Kirk's time in Atlanta's done. But, we'll start with the guests and see what you boys think. So we'll start with the new blood, Jameris. So how are you feeling about it? I mean, are you paying Kirk, or do you let him walk?
Say that again.
I'm just saying in regards to what money you're saving. Are you paying Cousins, or are you letting him shop around for another team?
We're talking about the message that's on the screen.
Yeah.
I would let who shop around?
Kirk Cousins. Are you paying him? The comment down on the screen there. So when we're talking about number 18.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'd say let Kirk Cousins walk so we could save our cap space. Personally,
that would be where my money's at too, I think. Just obviously, as talented as he has been in past seasons, and he showed he's still got something. That run at the end of the season, I think you're still getting a few buffering issues, so I may have spoken over you there, James. If I did, I apologise.
Yeah, there we go. Let Kirk Cousins walk. Let him walk. Let him keep exploring. And if nobody here's the thing. If we could restructure his contract or give him a cheaper contract, if he wants to come back, I'd say, as if I was a GM, I sure as hell was not going to give him another $100 million contract. No, he's going to get a way cheaper contract, in my opinion, because no.
Like,
because
you're not a Hall of Fame, your agent sure is.
Yeah, but let him shop around in free agency if nobody. Because here's the thing, He was. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts would rather get Phillip Rivers out of retirement. This guy's a grandfather now. Instead of calling up Kirk Cousins' agency, just let that sink in.
Yeah.
Like I know what you're saying, and I mean, but when you're talking about Phillip Rivers with his 9 or 10 kids, I think he would have taken any call just to get out of the house. But that's I digress.
Listen. Seemingly he made about $5 million on the healthcare alone for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Because effectively, I think it was like a month or two away from, because obviously when you retire, you get 5 years healthcare still through the NFL when you retire.
Mm-hmm.
But after 5 years, that stops. And now that he came back, he's now getting it for another 5 years. He's thinking himself, he's probably went and got a quote for new healthcare for the 42 kids that he's got and thought,
I think so.
I'll literally just, I'll just let a couple of defensive linemen just completely barrage me for a couple of games so that I can save a bit of.
Yeah, don't let them lie to you. The reason why he went to Indianapolis, he actually got 4 or 5 offers, but when he went, does the healthcare cover family? They went, hell no.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But shout out to the guys down in the chat, down to Floyd and to Mr. Impaler there to give him his proper title. We agree with you. If you bring a guy like Stefanski in, I think like he could make Kyle Pitts work in a lot of ways. He's no stranger to a tight end as Stefanski. They've had some good play in Cleveland tight end wise.
I think although we're saying what we want about Stefanski, the one thing I think we're going to learn this time is whoever we bring in, we're going to see competent coaching. That's what we're going to see. I'm sorry, but Arthur Smith was dysfunctional. Raheem Morris was dysfunctional. We can't really. I always say we can't just hold players up and expect them to be the best that they can be when we've got this dysfunctional coaching around them. You know what I mean? So, and again, at that point, like with the Kirk Cousins thing, I mean, effectively how it works is either in the match of the 11th or the 12th, we're cutting him, he's gone, he's a free agent. Because if he stays after that, I think he's due $67 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that he agreed with his contract. What I would say to him is go out and see what the market is and then let us know, because there's no way Kirk Cousins ain't getting $45 million.
No,
there's not a chance in hell.
Here's the thing about this Kirk Cousins' current situation, right? They made this contract more bearable. You know, it makes it a lot easier to move on from him. Yes, but realistically speaking, though, even a team who is as desperate in need of a quarterback as Indianapolis is not going to come calling. So when you think about teams that realistically would call on Kirk Cousins, who would be that team? I can't think of one. So it makes for an obvious choice for him to stay here because of the new contract that he has signed, because there's not that big of a cap hit this year. Now, next year is a different story. We're going to have to find a way to either buy him out or something, or keep restructuring the man until he retires at 65. But the thing,
Emmanuel, what I would say, the one thing that's probably going for Kirk Cousins is the fact that the draft for QBs is so bad. The fact that Dante Moore has just said he's going back to college and he was going to be considered. He could have been QB 1 or 2, either in front or behind Mendoza. So the fact that the QBs are so weak this year, that will go for Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean?
What concerns me about Kirk Cousins,
Mendoza, I don't see any QB where I would be like, I think it may be one of the first rounds in a while where I don't think I would give a first round talent per se to any QB outside Mendoza.
One of the QB guys who's he always just called, I can't remember the guy's name, but he's been really historically he's talked about a lot of the QBs that have been bombs, and he's called them bombs. He said that Mendoza for him is a 4th round pick.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that. Yeah, a lot of people have said that. Now, one thing I haven't heard Gruber, Gruden. I think Gruber, Gruden. I hadn't heard him speak of Mendoza. So, and I like to rely on Gruden when he talks about quarterbacks. But I haven't heard him say anything about Mendoza. So, I'm gonna. Even though I like how Mendoza plays, structured as a quarterback, but I just haven't heard too much. A lot about him as far as analytical wise. As far as his future in the NFL, I just don't know. It's just right now it's up in arms because we have seen some players that balls out in college, right, and then come to the NFL and it's like, where is that guy? We want that guy. So, but. I'm reserving judgment until I actually see him, in his whether it's be a pro day or his combine or even rookie camp. So, but right now it's up in arms. Like you said, I mean, a lot of us Falcon fans are wanting us to go out and look for journeyman quarterbacks, but realistically, guys, all the journeyman quarterbacks in the NFL are going to probably end up back with their team. They're there for a reason, whether they're backup or starters. We just missed our chance on grabbing some sound quarterbacks because myself, I think Cousins and Penix, I think they both were hurt coming into the season. That's just my opinion. Hence the fact that how our offense looked and where they had Penix consistently in the pistol. Right. And I just think that both of them were like legitimately hurt. And that's the way. And it just the plan backfired on our GM and it backfired on Heem, and it hurt the team. It hurt on them retaining their jobs. I think everything just backfired on them. Terry Fontenot, he gambled a lot. But I think he gambled one time too many. And when you gamble with other people's money, man, people make the decision on you real quick. And that's just what happened.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and then on top of that, running those formations where you have to go under center, that takes a bearing on your, especially when you went through some leg injuries. So the pistol formation seemed a bit necessary, especially when you want to run your running backs from the backfield, trying to get them. I understand all of that. It's just. You're limited when you're injured and you're playing on that injury. So that's what kind of frustrated me. Like and then Kirk Cousins want to joke about it and talking about, well, I wouldn't tell you anyway. And I'm like, dude, the season is on the line here, and we have a chance. Like at that time, Penix was healthy. Like you went and played around, and you played around and found out that. The tail end of the season, you was horrible before you got benched. The thing is, when I used to play, my coach, this the head coach coming at me like he asked me, "Are you okay?" And I say yes, and he said, "Are you lying to me?" And I'm
You're never 100% okay as a player. There's always something acting up. And then you retire, and then it really starts acting up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And see, Penix, it was one of those days in camp where he went out on a rollout and he pulled up lame, right? And I think he re-injured himself then. But they played it off, and then Eastern Stick. That's why he got a lot of that playing time in camp. So I'm like, they hid both injuries, right? Thinking they were going to heal in time for the season, and it just didn't work out. That's just my opinion. I don't think Penix. I think he may not have re-injured it, but he did aggravate it. I think, and I think like going under center was like very uncomfortable, and he didn't do a whole lot of running. We saw more running from him in college than he did, when he, coming here, and it took away from his game. So nobody played him.
I feel like you're right. Yeah.
I mean, nobody played him to run.
The issues were due to that old MCL, PCL issues that he had from back in college days as well. Des, you wanted to say something about the Penix thing as well, bro?
I think he done more running at Indiana than anything else, and
Mhm.
obviously get injured. And I think he pulled back when he was at Washington, so he wasn't as mobile when he went to Washington.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
He's
for me,
being careful.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
part.
Mhm.
For me, Penix is a guy. I mean, his arm strength is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's
Mhm.
the where he places the ball, unbelievable things you just can't train somebody to do. They've either got it or they don't.
Mhm.
That's how I'm so heavily into Clint Kubiak, because he's considered, he is considered a QB whisperer. He's good with his QBs. Look what he's done with
Mhm.
Sam Darnold this year. You know what I mean? He effectively what he done last year as well. So I mean, to deal with Derek Carr, and I mean, Derek Carr came out and said that effectively, there's a video there. It makes it so simple. He makes it easy to understand, and he doesn't hold back the quarterback. He doesn't have put doubts in your head. It allows you to be you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, he effectively made Spencer Rattled look half decent
Yeah.
as well in that offense. So
Yeah, and as you say, talking about failed quarterbacks or quarterbacks without a tenure of success, I mean, if you bring in a Kubiak, and I'm not 100%, I'll throw my hands up on what Will Levis's contract actually looks like.
he's got 1
But
year left.
Yeah.
yeah,
Only yeah.
He's got 1
okay.
year left, mate. And to
So
be
that would,
honest, you could literally get him for 2 windmills and a balloon, mate. It's
yeah, I feel like it.
literally. I mean, if it was anything more than a 7th round pick, there would be riots in Atlanta. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that 100%. But I
Yeah.
mean, talking about riots in Atlanta and talking about some of that, I mean, I don't, not that we're about to don boxing gloves here, but it's about to get just a little bit heated and contentious up in here, because this
Right. Right.
this is top down again. As I say, this is something that we've been doing a lot of this season, given obviously the lack of success, boys. So this concerns former coach Raheem Morris. Not only that, it also concerns our new president of football, the Iceman himself, and it even goes so far as to say that it concerns Mr. Blank. Now, when you guys are talking about Raheem Morris, do you feel like we're bringing Matt Ryan in with what we've said previously about him wanting his guy, it being a we more than an I sort of organisation going forward, although we know who has control at the end of the day, which is,
Right.
again, speaks to the forthrightness of the franchise, because when Rich McKay was in charge, we didn't really know too much of anything. So,
Right.
I mean, let's keep it 100. But with that being said, we do have to ask the question, and we'll go around. And I mean, I'll start with my co-host with the most. Des, how are you feeling about it first, and then we'll see what Ian, what Jameris are saying. But I mean, do you feel like he was scapegoated for a bigger system, for a bigger change, or do you feel like, again, as we said earlier, that like it was all down to the wins and the losses and the attitude coming out of those losses?
Well, what I would say is, see if you see Matt Ryan describing everything that he's looking for from a head coach, it does not describe Raheem Morris.
No.
I think probably if they were unsure what was going to happen with Raheem Morris, at the end of one of the games where he screams into the camera, "Call that,"
Mhm.
and effectively at that point, it's like, as he said, you need somebody that's level-headed. The
Yeah.
wins are a win, the losses are a loss. You're still in the middle, and
Exactly.
Raheem wasn't that. You know, I mean, he showed his emotions too much sometimes.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he just done daft things. He just wanted to be one of the boys, and it wasn't working. From my point of view, I'm pretty sure the Matt Ryan thing was ongoing for probably 5, 6, 8 weeks. I'll actually tell you where I think it all started. Matt Ryan went on a podcast after the Miami game and spoke about how the roof should have been opened and let the rain come in, because
Mhm.
Miami weren't used to playing in
Yeah.
bad weather. And at that point, somebody's thought, I'm pretty sure that's got to Arthur Blank, and Arthur Blank thought to himself, well, that makes sense. So I need somebody like that that's in here that can think like that. No one else apart from Matt Ryan mentioned that. And it just shows you how he sees things differently to other people. And at that point, Arthur Blank must have thought to himself, I'm going to have a chat with him. And I'm telling you that now, whatever happened with the Deshaun Watson scenario, whether it was Terry Fontenot, what I would say is that if we thought it was Arthur Blank, Matt Ryan's got a love for Arthur Blank like you have for your favourite grandfather. You know what I mean? He loves that man. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure that if that was the man that effectively instigated the Deshaun Watson scenario, you wouldn't be like that with him. You know what I mean? So there's a good chance that was Terry Fontenot and maybe Arthur Smith that pushed that. Now Arthur Smith's not here, but the first thing Matt Ryan done when he came in is, Terry, you're out. You know what I mean? And that's what I want. I want somebody that's vicious. As we say before, we will call out what we think's wrong, no matter whether it's you like it or not. We'll call out what we see is wrong and what's costing our Atlanta Falcons a win. And I believe Matt Ryan's the same. He's walked in there and he's went, Heem, you're no good enough. Terry, you're out. And that's it. And it's a clean
and I feel like it's to our credit, not just individually speaking, but as a network as well, as a group of friends who come on here to talk about this. It's refreshing to see, and I feel like that's what keeps eyes on the show as well. So as much as we appreciate you, it will get tough sometimes. We do talk about ripping off the band-aids, but I feel like that's the way you guys have it. And with this team being as it has been all season, sometimes it does get a little bit to where, some things need to be said, and it might not be what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. So, I mean, I'm going to quickly, forgive me, guys, I'm going to have to pop off cam for 2 minutes, but, I mean, let the people know and keep it going. Brother E, what do you think as to the situation pertaining to Raheem Morris? Do you feel like he was scapegoated for a bigger thing, or do you think it's more of just, it was time to go, your wins and losses didn't add up? How do you feel?
Oh, boy. So... look,
that's a bad start there. That deep breath said a lot.
And that's the thing. You have to say, where do I start?
I'm gonna go in order. Look, the only scapegoat in the 2025 coaching staff of the Atlanta Falcons was Ike Hilliard. He was the only scapegoat, in my opinion.
I agree.
You're the head now. Look, you are the head coach, Raheem Morris. Those wins or losses is going to start with you. You're gonna have to sink or swim or fix that ship. You've done none of the above. You put Ike Hilliard out there. Everything is on you. The misusage or non-usage of is like you think. You treat timeouts. You treat the timeouts like it's going to roll over, like you're trying to save PTO for work, and you think it's going to roll over to the next paycheck or the next game. Like you're going to start a whole new game with 6 timeouts. Like you're going to start the first half of the next game with 6 timeouts. You're not using them. That's on you. Ain't no scapegoat. You're not the scapegoat for something deeper. You're causing those deeper problems. You know what I'm saying? I thought we would be over this irritation of the misusage of timeouts when Mike Smith, the most winning head coach in Atlanta Falcons history, when he, for no reason, called timeout when we was playing against the Panthers. That irritated my soul. Why would you do that? And the same thing Raheem Morris. Why aren't you not calling these timeouts? Like this is a 2-minute drill. You got your rookie, you got your rookie quarterback trying to put together a winning drive, and you didn't call it. Like this is the perfect moment to call timeout, and you're not doing it. Now the game is slipping away because you're not calling timeout. So no, he did that to himself. He shot himself in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like no, he's not the scapegoat. He was a problem. He was becoming a
Yeah.
cancer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and you could like you fired your wide receivers coach and made your quarterback coach. And you
Mm-hmm.
put your quarterback coach TJ Yates the doggone wide receiver room, and that's not
Yeah.
doing no good because man, Mike pointed out the Drake London just fussing at him on the sidelines. I don't know what was being
Mm-hmm.
said, but I'm like,
Yeah.
man, drama.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
and you're
that's
not
that. I
Yeah.
mean,
you're
me and
not
Mike
fixing
have
that.
said, Jameris, like, he played quarterback and I played receiver. Like, we both know him throwing the ball, me catching it, that how an offense is supposed to run. But I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit here and tell him how to play QB, just as I wouldn't expect him to condescend and tell me how to play receiver. But
Yeah.
there is some lack of communication there that needs to be addressed. And
Yeah.
it's not going to be addressed by putting a QB over your receivers or vice versa. We need
Right.
someone who's played that position. And that just also plays back into what we were saying earlier is, can you get a better guy to go to than someone who knows the game as well balanced away
Yeah.
as a 16-year high-level quarterback who's then went on and analysed football for a living.
And
So, I
Yeah.
mean,
and
as
well,
I
that
say,
and well, that's
Yeah.
where Matt Ryan comes in. I mean, he's already said that he spoke to a lot of his former colleagues and his former players that he played with, giving them asking their thoughts, a lot of things, and I guarantee you, he's probably spoke to 30 or 40 his close friends,
Mm-hmm.
and asked them, what coach would you who are we not thinking about? What do you think? Who should we look at this? When you
Yeah.
when you were a wide receiver, what did you think they done wrong? Would you think they done right? So he'll be asking all that. And that's
Yeah.
the difference. He's got players that effectively were in that position that he can go to and say, what do you think? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Again, you're not going to get a general manager doing that. You're not going to get an owner doing that.
Yeah.
That only comes from being the quarterback, being the leader of the team, and being in that environment where they effectively look at you as you're the main guy. That all
Mm-hmm.
comes from that, and that's where bringing Matt Ryan in is. I mean, honestly, guys, we will look back on this in 10 years' time and
Yeah.
hopefully say that this was this is the game changer. This is what made the difference. This is how we got to where we should be. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
his IQ, his knowledge is second to none.
Yeah.
And I think I think a lot of people are just undervaluing how important this is to do that we've done this.
Yeah. Yeah.
For this question that I really like, and I mean, I can't give you guys enough credit down in the chat because the questions, the takes, and as I say, just the vibes down in the chat tonight have been fantastic. So please keep it coming. We love
Yeah.
to see it. But when it comes to the whole Pitts versus Njoku, I don't like to use the words "let him cook," but we've put enough into Kyle Pitts that wouldn't be the first thing I'd be looking to change. But
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I'm going to keep it 100 as I always do. David Njoku is a beast, like,
Yeah.
and no mistake there. The
Yeah.
guy can really play ball, but I just feel like we've put enough into Kyle Pitts at this point where,
Yeah.
assuming we do tag him, as I say,
Yeah.
assuming we do tag him and give him that extra little bit of time, then that would
Yeah.
be my choice. But if we do tag him, if we do ship him out, then I mean, you can't do wrong bringing in a player of Njoku's caliber. The guy
Yeah.
can, as I say, guys are stud.
Yeah. True indeed. True indeed. But my opinion on Raheem Morris, and I'm going to first say that I voted for him to be here. I wanted him here. I thought he would actually get the job done, right? But he failed this team over and over in every facet of the game, right? Like he was just saying that, you know, from the game management to player personnel to player engagement to dealing with the reporters. I mean, he failed at every facet of head coaching. I mean, head coaching one-on-one, he failed it. And he's not the scapegoat because he did it to himself. And he's been a head coach before. He knows what it takes. He's been around some good coaches. He knows what it takes. He just felt, I guess he thought he could come in and he thought it was going to be just that easy, right? And I have seen some of the great coordinators go on and become head coaches to only fall flat on their face, right? So it was a huge step, and you have to separate the two. Being a head coach is totally different than being a coordinator, right? And from his decision from his coordinators to the use of, like he said, to the timeouts, game management, to getting rid of the drama, addressing the drama on the field. You saw the Falcons organization unravel before our very eyes. And that's not typical of Atlanta Falcons. Now, if we're losing, we're not going to see what's happening behind closed doors that cause us to lose, right? We're not going to see what's happening in the locker room. We're not going to see tweets coming about. But I can guarantee you going forward, you will not see any more social media tweets coming from players because Matt Ryan is going to put an end to it. And that's one of the things that going forward that Arthur Blank wants to happen. He doesn't want players to be verbally out there saying stuff that that's detrimental to the team. If you got a problem, like I said earlier, go to Matt Ryan, and that is why he's there. That's why Matt Ryan said that whatever our players need, we're going to do what it takes to get what they need to be success. And that's easier said than done. This may sound cliche-ish, but I honestly think Matt Ryan is serious about that because he's seen the tweets. He's seen players crashing out on the sideline. He's seen and heard what's going on in the locker room. So in the press conference, when I see Matt Ryan reaching over and pretty much consoling Arthur Blank and tapping him on the leg and say, "Hey, I got you." He's tapping him up and saying, "Hey," he's confirming, "I got you. You put me in this position. You gave me a start 21 years ago, and I say 21 years ago, but I'm here now in a different spot. I got you." And I look for things being different going forward. Now, does that translate to performance on the field? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, only time will tell. And I mean, something that Jameris said before you started that I really loved when you're talking about Matt Ryan. And I mean, I know that the words you said were in relation to Jim Harbaugh, Jameris, but you want someone in that role who is a leader of men. I don't want another Ray McLeod situation, another Calvin Ridley situation, or another Julio Jones situation. And how do you address that? You bring in a man who is a leader of men, as you say, Jameis, who has the let's not sugarcoat it, the balls to go like that. No, if you have a problem, you come and you speak to me, and together we will address it. And I feel like that's what we want to see going forward, and that's the way it seems to be going. Sorry to jump in, Des.
I think that the best thing about the Matt Ryan appointment is the fact that he's seen it. He's seen the good times and he's seen the bad times. Yeah. So he. I mean, it's a roller coaster as a quarterback at the Atlanta Falcons. 14 years. He's seen the good coaches. He's seen the bad coaches. He's seen it all. Yeah. So he's been in a position where Mike Smith gets sacked and then Dan Quinn come in. Dan Quinn done really well, then Dan Quinn started struggling. So he's seen what works and what doesn't work. He's seen the chemistry in the changing room moving from positive to negative. He watches. I mean, that's what a quarterback does. He is, as you say, he's the leader. He's looking at all the players, not just the offense. He's looking at the defense. He's looking to see what's happening in that changing room because that's his job. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's seen all that, and as I say, he's seen what works with a team and what gels a team when we got to the Super Bowl, and he then sees what I mean. He effectively went through 3 head coaches. So, two head coaches and he get for the third one. So, but he's seen it working and he's seen it not working. So he understands what he has to do to change and adapt that.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of changing and adapting while we are doing all that, I mean, we are changing and adapting some things here. So this would be another good point to kind of talk about some changes going on. And I mean, although we're on the outside looking in, just to drive that home again ahead of this weekend before we do get into Q&As and closing things down. This weekend's divisional weekend, and a lot of big games left. So just to flag that up for anyone who's shut off for the season, and we're not going to say we blame you if you have. Like it's been a long year, like, and no mistake. But if you are still
we've got 71
switched
years, mate, so we're doing no bad.
well, you know what? The fidelity's been not too bad, and I mean we've got pictures to boot, so we've got some entertainment for the people tonight. So
Listen, can I just say something?
yeah, you sure can, bud.
See that Super Bowl logo? Put that Super Bowl logo back up if you don't mind.
Not at all. There you go.
So
Interesting.
Emmanuel knows what I'm going with this. Do you remember the rumor that it was always the colour of the teams that were in the Super Bowl final was in the logo?
Yeah, the Ravens ruined it.
Yeah. So they've decided, you know what? We're going to have purple magnolia. We're going to have just all the colours of the rainbow in the new logo. And then they can't say that there's that rumour's real. You know what I mean? It's
Just
so funny. The NFL. It's a
I tell you what.
The NFL.
I tell you what, when we get ready to go into the Super Bowl, I want a solid black or sold out silver logo. I don't want no colors in it.
Emmanuel, go back and look at the historic Super Bowl logos. Some of them were fantastic. Now that we've turned into Walt Disney with all these crazy multi-color. What was wrong with the
you
solid
said it. I want my chat colourful, but my logo's muted. There is a line, like, how much colour is too much colour? What colour's your logo for the Super Bowl this year, guys? Yes.
Right. And we probably need to put a max of 3 colors in the logo. I mean, and white has to be one of them. You know, it's white, black, or red, or white, black, or orange. I mean, this pink, magnotta, and brown and orange, and all these different colors. It's like 8 different colors in that logo, man. We need to put a letter in and say, hey, look, 3 colors max. That's it. Period. And they have to match.
Yeah. New league rule, like they're quick enough to go at, nah, you can't wear red and green cleats at Christmas when you're a New Orleans player. And it's like, oh, okay, if you want to do that, then what's the Super Bowl logo all about, huh? You want to ask some questions, I'm going to ask questions.
No, exactly.
Oh, and then the people call this a no fun league. Like, what are we talking about?
Oh no, let's not do
it rainbow. If they just make it rainbow, they put all the little speculations to the side.
Oh man.
Hey,
then they'll say, hey, Atlanta's definitely coming to the Super Bowl. We do that.
No, do you know what? All those logos are just making me think you're trying to get Mardi Gras up in here. It might be the Aints here, boys.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. Not that I would ever speak that into the ether intentionally, but just the logos are going some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? But no, as I say, there's better things on the horizon. Where, as Jimmy says, like the more you read it, the more it makes sense. Like Matty Ice is the guy, and we're all excited here. Much as we like to kind of have a bit of a song and dance and a bit of a giggle about it all, like we're generally speaking, we can't wait to see what's next. But I mean, how are you all feeling? Like the panel's taking the last sort of 90 minutes to tell you exactly how we feel, but it's Q&A time, so I'm going to flash up that little logo as I do. And if you do have anything else you want to say or anything else you want to ask the panel, well, we've still got the boys sharing the floor with us. If there's anything you want to ask, now would be the time. So we'll keep it going, maybe, as I say, another 15-20 minutes. Just see what you all have got for us, because as I say, the chat's been fantastic tonight. So we can't thank you enough. But yeah, boys, is there anything else that you two or you three wanted to bring up or discuss before we wrap it up?
Well, on the divisional rounds, I just want, as long as Sean Heem Disney win. So do you want to know the score currently at the moment with the Bills Broncos game?
Please do.
So it's currently 7-10, so 10-7 to the Broncos. So
come on, Josh.
there's three I hate. I hate the GOAT man. I hate New England Patriots or the Hatriots. And I hate Sean Haytham. I hate that man with unbridled passion. I really do. So as long as it's no they two, or as long as none of them get to them, I've just got a feeling that it's either the Seahawks or the 49ers. I think whoever wins that has got a good chance of actually going all the way. So
I think you could be right. I feel like that's the one I've got my eye on tonight for sure. As I say, I feel like, not to put too fine a point on it, but any self-respecting Falcons fan really should be checking out that game tonight, because you could well be looking at potentially your new OC or your new head coach on either one of those sidelines there. So I don't think, and there's going to be some fireworks. That the teams are, as we've seen, we've played them all year. That was our inter-conference play, so we know they play some good football out west. So it should be a good game tonight. But I mean, we'll cover this one because it's a great question again from Jimmy. But with this current roster and some new coaches, obviously, we're just asking in a general sense. So if we get a good new coaching staff of high level, would you think the Falcons are going to be at next season? And I'm going to go with it really depends on how you draft, because suspecting that we get as many players back healthy as we intend to, then what you're really talking about at that point is depth. Which brings us back to what Jameris was saying earlier. We're looking at CB2, we're looking at wide receiver 2, we're looking at nose, and not to kind of detract what the good level of play that we've been having from either Jake or Caleb. Given that Jake's going into age 33 now, I would be possibly looking to find that tackle if Jack Nelson's not the answer. So that's kind of how I was feeling. But with all that being said, if we draft right, this is a 12-win team all day. We've got a solid spine. Yeah. It's just now fleshing that out a little bit. So, I mean, I'll pass it around to you boys and let you take a crack at that as well. Whoever's got something to say, feel free to jump on that. But I'm saying this is a 12 or 13-win football team in the right hands.
I think the issue we've got is that effectively we've now got probably a stronger NFC South. I think the Panthers shocked everybody, and they'll probably be better next year. To be honest, I think the Aints will be a lot better next year as well. They're starting to come out of their cap hell, and you can never ever write off the Bucks. So the last few years, when it was all up in the air, when we had a chance to actually win the NFC South, we've not done it. And I think we're now coming to a point where whoever does come in is going to have stronger opposition in the NFC South. The way I look at it as well is I think we've only got 5 draft picks. I think the big difference is going to be in free agency this year. The new general manager needs to come in and clean up the cap space. Get like Darnell Mooney out. I think we save $11 million on the cap if we move him on. Just clear the guys out that are no longer needed. Get probably, if we can get maybe 40-50 million in cap space, and then what you'll tend to find is, depending who it is that they bring in, if it's a guy from San Francisco they've interviewed, or if it's Ian Cunningham from the Chicago Bears, you'll start to see some players that were literally on the edge of their teams that effectively these guys have watched start to come forward. As we've seen with Terry Fontenot and Caden Ellis and all that kind of thing, when he came from New Orleans, the Aints, you know what I mean? So I think the most important time for us is going to be free agency from my point of view.
I agree, unless we could recoup some back with one of these outgoing guys. Like, I think somebody would maybe give us some sort of package of day 2 to 3 picks or something for maybe an Ebiketie or something. But as you say, we need to trim up the right kinds of fats. So I think that's another $7 or $8 million you're talking about when you mention Ebiketie. as you say,
Yeah.
$11 million on some of these guys. So I feel like we need a new GM who's going to come in, who's going to look at the books and go, right, okay, there's going to be a way to slice this. Where are we trimming up here? Because as I say, that defense, especially when you're considering that a lot of Falcons fans were unsure as to starting that many rookies. And I could understand it. Like Des and I both said, like, yeah, these are rookies. They're very talented, but ask us again at the end of the season and we'll see where we are, sort of thing. Now we're quite happy to tell you that we didn't go too far wrong in our predictions there, which was one of the big good caveats to this season as well as you all keeping us company as always. So yeah, that's kind of how we feel about it, and we'll pass it down to the guests as well. How are you feeling, Emmanuel? Sorry, Des, did you want to say something first, mate?
Sorry,
Yeah.
no, it's right.
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. It all's going to come down to one very important position that needs to be filled, and that's the OC. Because we have the players here, right? We do have players that seem to have taken a back step a little bit, like Darnell Mooney. You know, we still need to see wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. We have so many spots to fill, right? And that's why I hate we lost Nick Nash, and we didn't get a chance to see what kind of asset that he could be to this team. I think we're going to see why we should have played him, but in Washington. But it's going to come down to how the OC uses the players that we got. And you got to play to players not to their potential, but to what they can actually give you, right? And that's going to Kyle Pitts, right? Kyle Pitts, yes, he is that guy. He is I'm not gonna say unicorn, but he is that guy that can make the difference. The thing is, Zach Robinson didn't see that. He didn't use that. He didn't take advantage of that. I think the only reason he looked good going down the stretch was because of Kirk Cousins. And I think a lot of those plays was called by Kirk Cousins. So I say again, it's going to come down to who that offensive coordinator is, not the head coach, not the defensive coordinator, not the GM. It's going to come down to who that offensive coordinator is as to how we finish. And with this present roster, though, we can finish very well second in the division. And I say that because I don't think we're ready to take over, go in and dominate like I think we should. But like I said, it comes down to that offensive coordinator. And like Des said, the Saints are going to be very competitive next season. I think this division is going to be a whole lot closer than this past season. I don't think it's going to be a landslide by no means. It may very well come down to another 3-way tie or even 4-way. It could actually, but it's going to come down to who has the most wins within the division, like it came down to this year. And like I said again, that OC spot is critical. It is critical. That OC has to know he's going to have his hands filled 2 ways. He's going to have to keep developing Penix, right? Because he's not done learning. He's going to have to develop Penix, and he's going to have to learn each and every player and learn what they can give to your offense, depending on what offense you run. So the offensive coordinator spot is where it's going to separate us from the division, I think.
Yeah, and I feel like that's also answered, kind of also covered Tony's question there too, and I'll pass it back to you as well, Des. But when you're talking about a Super Bowl run, once you reach the level of a playoff team, then you get to what I was talking to you about earlier when it pertains to teams like San Francisco and Buffalo. When you hit the playoffs, it's very much an any given Sunday type of deal. So again, that boils down immensely to who you've actually got running that team. So again, if we want to be scoring points, then we need an OC capable of, as I say, being a bit of a QB whisperer, because we don't quite know where we're going to be in that regard. So yeah, a lot of these questions are better posed after the draft and free agency process. But I mean, if we can get the right coaching staff in place, and we can draft accordingly and obviously conduct ourselves accordingly in free agency, then and sky's the limit.
The coaching staff's the most important everything. You're not telling me there's if anybody tells me there's every team in the playoff is better than Atlanta Falcons, then I'm sorry. That's nonsense. That Atlanta Falcons team, the offense and the defense is top 6, top 7. You know what I mean? So the players are there. We just need the right coaching staff. We're now at a point where I think we've got the QB. We've definitely got the QB. We just need to effectively get the OC in, as Emmanuel says, get the OC in that can help the QB that we've got. He's got the arm talent. He's got the positional sense. He knows what he's doing. We just need to grow that and push that on.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
I say on Kyle Pitts again, you know, like I'm very comfortable moving on from him if we have to, right? Because we still have tight ends on the team that could give us a whole lot more. But like I said, that offensive coordinator is going to have to reach out there and find out where that gap is between Kyle Pitts and his production. Because you look at the other teams in the league, it has become a tight end dominant league now. Offenses have become tight end dominant now. A lot of teams are actually utilizing tight ends for big plays, especially on third downs, right? And that's why I want so much more. I like Kyle Pitts, right? I like the idea of what he does, what it means for the team, but we're just not getting that, you know. I like the idea of using Charlie Warner more than Kyle Pitts, to be honest with you. Because truth be told, I don't know if everybody remember, but Kyle Pitts was supposed to be that blocking back out of the backfield, and he just couldn't get it done. That's how Charlie Warner ended up being that blocker, you know, on that when he has to go back there and play fullback. And I wanted that for Kyle Pitts because you can utilize Kyle Pitts in several different ways when you have him coming out of the backfield, right? Blocker, as a runner, as a catcher. Kyle Pitts can do that. We just, for some reason, have not seen it. Whether or not another offensive coordinator can bring that out of him, who knows? You know, I just, for some reason, I'm just not getting away from Zach Robinson being that Achilles heel from this offense this year. He was that guy. I think if we had, I think if Raheem Morris had went on and made the decision to get rid of Kyle Pitts and bring in somebody else that was more offensive, I'm not gonna say a guru, but I can't think of any other offensive coordinator that would have failed with this type of offense that we had. I just can't think of another one outside of a first-year offensive coordinator who hasn't had his shoes signed yet. So.
Yes,
Zach Robinson, you got it. He was the ultimate failure for this team offensively. Raheem ultimately was the guy. He's the head coach. He has to take the blame, right? But when it comes to when you want to point the blame or stick a pin on it, it's Zach Robinson. I mean, he's the one that kept you off your defense on the field. You know, all the 3 and outs. You know, the situational play calling that went by that could have extended games, extended plays. He just was not that. I mean, granted, Kirk Cousins wasn't the best. Michael Penix was not the best. But when it comes to that situational play calling, if you put your team in a situation where they can be successful, I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers, man. This man. I mean, you talking about a man that's ready for grandkids now that's still out there balling. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's a lot that you can look at when it comes to Zach Robinson and his play calling that was not good for Atlanta.
I mean, the one thing I would say is it was completely predictable. What I would say is that the league seen something because he's interviewed with the Bucks and he's interviewed with the Eagles. So. But again, I mean, Arthur Smith's, well, he's not in a job now because effectively Mike Tomlin's is walked away. But I mean, as I said earlier, if they get into the league, they're really good at what they're doing. You know, I mean, if you're a OC or a head coach in the NFL, you're amazing at what you do. You're exceptional. You're top 1%. But Zach Robinson was so predictable. effectively the motion, whatever the player was in motion, effectively the other team knew what was getting done. I mean, it was just, I mean, defensive coordinators could read his offense, and that's the biggest issue.
And coming out in a press conference and saying, "Yeah, this is our offense," is not going to help either, which again boils down to coaching. I mean,
this is Bijan.
That makes sense.
This is number 7. This is Bijan Robinson. This is where all our offense goes. Mr. Defensive Coordinator.
All that was missing was the nice red dress, because he had that down. But no.
Please do me a wee favour and don't stop this guy, because if you stop him running, then obviously we can't win the game. So if you just leave that, let him run through your guys, that would be appreciative. Thanks very much, Heem Morris.
You know it's bad when you're at the game, right? And people in the stands are calling Zach Robinson plays before he calls them. That's how predictable he was, you know. And I'm not taking nothing away from women in football, right? Because there are a lot of women that know football. Right. Shout out to Miss Maggie and the Lady Birds that know football. They watch football as much as men. But when you have women in the seats, right, they're calling his plays before. Watch, you know, watch he runs Bijan. Matter of fact, it was the play against was that Miami? That was a Miami game, and it was a 4th and 1. And it was an obvious give the ball to Tyler Algier, let the Tyler Algier pick up the yardage, right? And this young lady calls it out. Watch he sticks in Bijan and try to run Bijan up the middle. And sure enough, he did it. Bijan stopped for a couple of yards lost. And that's the thing, like Dad says, gets predictable, right? Atlanta's offense has been predictable for a while, you know, and that's what we need to get away from. And to me, myself, I know it would never happen. But I would not be above bringing back Shanahan. You know, I'll bite them. You know, I swallow my pride and say, "Hey, Shanahan, would you like to come in?" You know, and I can't
choose what Adam you want me to cut off.
I mean, coming up a bit high, we would have settled for the elbow, but you do you, mate.
And you talk about a mastermind on the offensive side, you know, and like now he's short a few players, so he still can't get out of his own way. But I'm pretty sure he has learned his lesson. And with a team like this, oh man, I don't think he was be able to stay still in his shoes, because I mean he would get the happy feet because he would love this, you know, to coach a team like we have with weapons at all facets of the game, you know, before the team got dismantled anyway. But the premise of going into the draft and the free agency, we have to fill these voids, you know, CB2, and we have a lot to fill. We still need a guy in the middle on that defense. We still need a CB2. We still need a wide receiver 2 and 3 possibly. You know, we still have a lot to fill. You know, we got a lot of money to try to cut from the trim off the team. So, but it can be done. You know, we and just to make it clear, I want Ian Cunningham. I want him as our general manager. He reminds me. He and Terry Fontenot has come along at the same time. They both learned with Ryan Poole, who's over there who's the general manager with the Chicago Bears. So these are some smart guys, right? And that's why I want Ian. He has learned a lot, been through a lot, been under a lot of great GMs. So it's time for him to get in his own spot, and that's what I want here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like he's not only the bookies' favourite, he would probably be my favourite guy for the job as well. And shout out to Jacob, first time down in the chat. And it's not a name that we've forgotten per se. We have mentioned the Belichick name before. Obviously, he's no friend to the people of Atlanta, so you may not get the most polite response to that in all mediums, but no, we have spoken about Belichick and
but you know what? That was funny.
Tenure being what it is. No, thank you.
I don't understand why a lot of people are pushing Stefanski our way. And I get it. We are a better team than the Browns, right? But I don't understand why people are pushing him our way. I mean, he hasn't done anything to show that he's a winning coach. I mean, Raheem Morris has a better record than Stefanski. I mean, that may say a lot, and it may not. But to me, I mean, he hasn't warranted the attention that he's getting to be the head coach here. Now, granted, he does have a different system, but that does not mean that system is going to come and work with these players that we have now. So you talking about who? And the thing is about bringing in a coach with a whole different system, guys. We're thinking about taking a few steps back. We will want to bring in a coach that's running a system similar to what we're already running with these players. These players are used to this system. We can win with this system, but it has to be up to that offensive coordinator.
I was literally saying, like as you say, it's going to come down to what you say about coaching, but nice one, Jimmy. And I may say that Des will back me up on this one. I literally said that name to him last night in response to the Belichick discussion. So, oh dear. But so yeah, that kind of tells you what you need to know. He's got no fans on this channel. We'll say that much, and we'll try our best to keep it PG-13, so to speak.
Yeah, please.
But, I mean, we're trying to curtail the amount of swearing that we're doing on the show, but you guys really aren't making it any easier for us. But no, as I say, we'll start with the new blood. So we'll start with you, Jameris, and then we'll go around. But before we do, I would remind you all, here at AFN International and here on the Scottish Falcons show, we pride ourselves, as we always have done, with being the voice of all the fans. So we're looking to open it up even more in 2026 with the Frequent Flyers programme, which, as I say, I talk to the boys on the panel. They'll tell you we always try to host up well, give you guys a lot of good talking points to go over with us. And as I say, you guys in the chat seem to be loving everything. So if you want to join the panels and have a chat with us in the future, get at me, get at Des, get at any of the panellists, get at Miss Maggie and the ladies too if you want to get involved and come and earn your kilt. Because as I say, the boys have done a lot of good things for us this season, and the girls have done a lot of good things for us this season. So if you do want to get involved in that, then that's how to do it. Just hit us up on the socials, which we'll get, as I say. So we'll start with you, Jameris. So where can the people get at you if you want to continue this little conversation?
Come right on here. Come to this channel too. It's not gonna be my only appearance. I like it here.
We're glad to have you, brother.
So my little closing statement here. You can find me on my channel, Jameris58 Gilliam. During the season, I come up with 3 different types of videos of logistics. I talk about how could the Falcons can pull off a victory on the next upcoming opponent. Victory lap if we win. I come up with those victory lap videos. I talk about what I liked about the game, and I also come up with humble pie videos when the Falcons lose. I give the opponents their flowers. I'm a football fan. I'm a diehard football fan first, so I'm not going to be too salty about it. But I give the players and the coaches their due diligence when they get their victory over us.
Except
what and I also sing sometimes too. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that was something I wanted to talk about because I mean, going into 2026, the good news for everyone involved is that the Scottish Falcons will be starting our solo channels on Instagram, TikTok, even a new YouTube channel as well, because we are going to be doing wrestling, baseball, basketball, all that good stuff. We're just going to be under the new banner going into 2026 of SF Sports. But that is no way to say that our contributions to AFN International are going to deviate. As I say, all the guys are welcome anytime. So we appreciate your sentiments there. And as I say, if you've ever got the time, then we've got the space. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you joining us again. And as I say, we'll talk about music real soon.
All right.
Brother Lee, what you got to say in closing, my man? Where can they get at you?
Yeah, man. First of all, appreciate you being on. Allowing me to be on here once again. It's always good to talk with you guys, and it always good to come to a platform where people talk Falcon football. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own opinion about it, and it's nice to be able to share it and without being judged about it. So I think it's good. It's good. We're no experts by no means. but we are passionate, right? We love our Atlanta Falcons. We love our Dirty Birds. So we're going to speak our mind about it, and hopefully everybody, be accepted of that and acceptance of that. But shout out to you guys, man. AFN International, Scottish Falcons, and Lady Birds of AFN for putting together a good program, a good podcast where everybody can come in and join and share their voice and give their shout outs. And like I said, man, it's always good to be here. I appreciate it. But you guys can find me on YouTube, Atlanta Falcons Pandemic, Twitter, Facebook. I'm still working on Spotify. Miss Maggie, she helped me up with that. So yeah, man, it's always good to talk Falcon football and good to be on with you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great to have you on again, and thank you so much for, as I say, your ongoing support, all your great takes as always. But we can't talk really about great takes without passing it back to the chat. And no, we didn't get the chance to sadly attend any wrestling events, Tony, but that's something that I will be looking to remedy real soon. It's one thing that is on the bucket list, right beside, obviously, if we do get that international game, then going to see my birds. So that's all I care about.
Will,
and obviously
Will and Des, I know y'all not gonna say it, but I will. Man, y'all hit that like button when y'all be coming into the chat, man. Dang.
There you go. There you go.
Don't be treating these fellas like side chicks. Hit that like button.
Well, no, if you've known us long enough, you'll know, mate. The Scots get by on self-deprecating humour, but sometimes we self-deprecate a little too much. So thank you for throwing that in. But yeah, as the man says, smash that like button, the share button, all that good stuff. Give us some interactions.
If you're a fan, hit that like button. If you're a true fans, hit that like button. You're talking Falcon football. It should be automatic.
We got the pandemic on the show, and it's got to be catching at this point. Whether you love us or whether you hate us, the disease has got to be catching. So come on in here and talk Falcons with us. But Des, take us home. If the people want to get at you, I know, as I say, over 70 fans have been watching tonight, which again we can't appreciate enough. But most of them are watching through your X. So as I say, let the people know where they can get at you and continue these chats.
And again, thanks to everybody who has been watching through my X. So it's really, really appreciated. And again, that's where you get all my takes. So Scottish Falcon. So effectively, it's all just Atlanta Falcons takes. So again, I think I've got 100 odd to get to 1,000. So again, if you're not already following me on X, please give me a follow. That would be great.
Nice.
And to give the man his flowers, these shows don't go ahead as much as I do the production and getting all the headings and picks and all that stuff. I want to give this man his flowers because without the dynamo of the team, there is no Scottish Falcons show. So Des, thank you for joining me this season tonight, and as I say, going forward as well. And Jimmy, just to touch base on that, I've never attended international games as yet. That will be remedied soon. And I know, Des, you've been at a few. London, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I've been to 2 London games, So the New York Jets, which was 2021, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, which was a disaster in 2023. That's a game that's remembered for the Nickelodeon cartoons where they were running up and down the pitch. So
that's not remembered in a very good light then.
That tells you how interesting that game was and how bad that game was, that everybody remembers it because of the wee cartoon characters more than the actual game.
Yeah, that should tell you everything you need to know. I mean, we're all for low scoring, but at least have it be exciting at the same time. But no, as I say, Jimmy, if you want to come on the show, you know where to get at. As in, at some point, with you being based in Scotland, we'll have to get together some point for a pint of something cold, and that's whatever your tipple might be. Because as I say, there's not always on the panel like a drink, but whatever your tipple might be, you could join us sometime and let's talk bird. But as I say, we always like to shut it down with the usual hashtags and the all that good stuff. So I'm going to send it back to the picks you know and love. So just in closing, as always, never ever forget that the whole panel, the English guy, the guys will be obviously based in the British Isles, and the American guys as well. Hopefully, there's a lot more to come. And as I say, if you want the live parties this weekend, then you know what to do. But remember, in the meantime, that we love our ATL. And before we wish you good night, Dirty Birds, we would remind you as always that pain is international, but so is passion. And if you don't realise that by now, we've told you enough. You're never going to get it, but we're going to keep it coming into 2026, and we'd love for you all to be here with us. And just before we do, shout out, as I say, it's all love. So right back at you, Mad Mike, to your crew as well, as I say, and to the guys on the panel as well, talking about your shows. We appreciate that. And if there's any favour we can do to you in response, you know where to find us. But until then, my peoples, peace out.
Thanks,
Catch you
guys.
soon. Bye-bye.
Rise up.
Rise up. No, it's not rise
Let's
up
go.
anymore. It's get set. We agreed
Oh
to
yeah,
change
get
that
Falcon
thing.
set. Yeah, it's get
Get
Falcon set. Yeah.
Yeah, you know it. Peace out, everybody. Much
Thanks,
love.
guys.
Peace.